There's also fighting in the South, the Southern Theater of the War of 1812, and this begins between groups of white settlers and Creek Indians, also known as Red Stick Indians, some of whom had been in contact with Tecumseh and inspired by Tecumseh to resist encroachments by white settlers into what's now Alabama. And the white settlers in 1810, Americans, had annexed West Florida and the district of what's now surrounding the city of Mobile. And from Mobile, what's now city and bay of Mobile, over to the Perdido River, not far away in what's now Florida. And they were going to try to be encroaching northward gradually from there into Alabama. And they ran into clashes that were already occurring between tribes within the Creek Nation, okay? And in August of 1813, the Creek Indians, a group of Creek Indians, overran the Fort Mims, a stockade about 40 miles north of Mobile, and this would have been in southeastern Mississippi Territory. And at this Fort Mims, they massacred about 250 white Americans, men, women, and children, as well as 150 black people and other Indians. And this was a really shocking and horrific event for the American settlers. And very quickly after this massacre occurred in August of 1813, you had the recruitment of militiamen to go down and punish the Creek Nation for this massacre. Now, significantly, among the men who were inspired to respond to this massacre at Fort Mims was Andrew Jackson. He was a major general in the Tennessee militia at the time, and he took charge and he moved south from Tennessee Territory with thousands of Tennessee militia volunteers. Among them was Davy Crockett, who was 27 at the time, and also Sam Houston, who was 21. And they were fighting in the fall of 1813 into the winter of 1814. Jackson's encountering the same problems with his militiamen that had been encountered up in the north along the Canadian frontier. They're recalcitrant, they're disobedient, they don't want to follow orders. But Jackson was very stern as a military commander. And when his men tried to desert, tried to leave without permission, he threatened to shoot them. And on one occasion, he did have a young soldier who was trying to desert, tried, court-martialed, and shot. So he was very good at enforcing the discipline within the militia that was going to make that militia be more effective. This harsh discipline paid off in March of 1814 at the Battle of Tallapoosa River, where he engaged with 800 Creek warriors. Well, he killed over 800 Creek warriors in that battle, losing only 45 American soldiers, okay? And so Jackson now emerges as the person who has brought vengeance for this massacre at Fort Mims. He emerges as a national hero, as a great war hero, and as this tough-minded figure nicknamed Old Hickory, and who's going to get results from his men in battle when he needs them. Now, Jackson himself oversees negotiations with the Creek Nation in the aftermath of this battle of the Tallapoosa River, and we're really without and against the wishes of Washington, he obtains in treaty from the Creek Indians 22 million acres of land, and it was more than half the territory belonging to the Creeks. And the Western settlers are rejoicing, right? He's delivered not just victory, but he's now delivered land, what they were hoping for in the first place. And Washington is very angry, but the Westerners are very happy, right? And in some ways, you could say this was the most decisive victory for the Americans in the war because it was the biggest gain of territory that they had in this war of 1812. And of course, this treaty was signed in August of 1814, a few months after the victory at Tallapoosa River.